This is Mike Corey from ESPN, and you're listening to the Sports Objective Podcast, the unofficial podcast of the Pirates.
Yeah. My heart is purple and gold. I'm a pirate down to my soul, and I don't back down, not at all. Find out when the cannons explode. From the sidelines down to the post, put it down like not even close. All out to the last whistle blow. From the flag with the soul and crossbones. Everybody stand up, get your hands.
Welcome into the Sports Objective, as we got a very special show with us tonight. As always, my good buddy Kyle from LaGrange. Barbara, how are you?
What's going on, Dave? Somebody's phone was ringing. How's everyone doing tonight?
Doing great. Great to be here. Thanks to Bubba Rosenbaum here tonight. Appreciate him very much. And with us right now, very happy to have an ECU alum and a Lincoln University, that is Missouri president. And that's Dr. John Moseley. Hey, Coach, how are you? Thank you for coming on with us tonight.
I'm doing great. Guys, I really appreciate the invitation to visit with some friends from Pirate Nation tonight. So look forward to a great conversation.
No doubt about it. We were catching up a little bit beforehand. Obviously, things that I didn't know, but walk us through your journey. I know that you spent time in Greenville and obviously with Coach Dooley, Coach Mack, but tell everybody about your path to being a Pirate.
Well, first of all, I'm from Warrenton, North Carolina. My wife and I both chose to come to East Carolina. What a great place for us to get our education and meet so many wonderful people. Just knowing that this opportunity was going to be here for me tonight, it's given me time to reflect today on just many of the relationships that were built during our time there. And I was fortunate. I did work with Coach Joe Dooley for 4 years. He helped me get my undergrad degree in exercise and sports science, and I went on to get my master's degree there as well. Before launching my coaching career. Mike Corey did the introduction to your show. Mike was our radio guy when I was at University of Delaware. And what a crazy world. And now Mike's going on to do great things. And so I was an assistant at the University of Delaware, came back to my hometown of Warren County High School, jumped back into the college ranks at Wright State, ended up at Winston-Salem State as an assistant before Coach Mack gave me an opportunity to come home. And I had 2 great years in Greenville, one as an ops guy, one as an assistant, before Mack's role changed at the university, which led me to North Carolina Central, which is exactly how I ended up at Lincoln University. A vice chancellor left North Carolina Central, who I had formed a relationship with, and took the job in Missouri. Me not knowing that Lincoln University, there was one in Missouri. I thought it was the one in PA initially. Later found out it was in Missouri, and 13 months later, he gave me an opportunity to come to Jefferson City. And it's been quite an experience. 7 years as head men's basketball coach, 6 of those as the athletic director, 8 months as the interim president. And today is technically my first day officially as the president of Lincoln University. And so what a wild ride.
Doing a lot of media opportunities, right? Just like on the Sports Objective here.
Absolutely, man. It's always fun to tell that story and to get to talk about East Carolina. I'd be remiss if I don't take just 1 second tonight to say Jimmy Grimsley, who was a fixture at the sidelines at East Carolina as a scorekeeper, but more importantly, the role that he played in so many Pirates' lives during their time at East Carolina. And I miss him. He passed away my first year out here, actually. And he was a father figure to so many of us. And I saw a picture the other night from Morgan Ayler's courtside, the 10-year challenge. And I think he put one back about 15, and Dr. Grimley's sitting there. And so, again, we think about East Carolina. All of us have a love for the place. But the place is more than that. It's the people. And so that's my Pirate life for me.
Well, way back when you were assistant on Coach Joe Dooley's staff, did you ever envision becoming a university president? Was that something you had as a goal? I would imagine not.
Never. I can tell you wholeheartedly, my goal the entire time I was there was to be the head coach of East Carolina. East Carolina was so good to me and my family. Having the chance to come back there to coach with Mack was such a big deal for my career. And certainly I wish we had done a little bit better, or Mack had been given an opportunity to continue kind of what he was working towards. Until today, I mean, Mack remains a great friend. in getting this promotion. I knew I got the call last week and that it was a done deal. Mac was the second person I called outside of my family because of the influence that he's had on my life. And I really consider myself fortunate to have people like him that have poured into me. But I wouldn't have guessed this 2 years ago. And so I did have the same president that brought me here encouraged me to get my doctorate. And so I did that while I was coaching and being AD. It was like, okay, what do you do in your free time? Yeah, right. But I did pursue my doctorate during that time. Graduated from the University of Missouri back in May with that degree. And 2 weeks later, I was asked to serve in this capacity. And so certainly a non-traditional path to the presidency. I was in a room recently in Florida with a lot of public university presidents, and I think I was the only one with an athletic background, which I believe gives me a benefit, but some may not see it that same way.
And John, that was one of my next. That was a nice segue. That was one of the things I was going to ask you about. Is you're having to wear a lot of hats there, but one of the things it seems like we have a great chancellor now, Dr. Philip Rogers, who I believe he gets not only academics, but he gets athletics. But in fairness to him, there are a lot of chancellors and presidents that really don't understand athletics. They're more from the academic world, and we need to have, to me, for me personally, there has to be like hand in hand. You know, the one is not better than the other, but sometimes you see where the experience is just not there for that. So it's great for you being a president, as someone who loves academics and athletics, to have that background.
Yeah, it's listen. My dissertation was on the relationship between spending and winning in Division II football and men's and women's basketball. I was a men's basketball coach here. We're in one of the best Division II conferences in the country. We've got teams from our league that have won a national championship at least once in the past 14 years. A national champion Division II sport has been a representative of MIAA school, and so it's tough. But I do believe in the value of athletics and what it does for a university. I do believe it's the front porch of an institution. It does so much to build just passion and pride between the students that are there, recruits that are available or looking at schools, and then the community and the alumni base. I mean, everybody loves a winner, and we see what that does for us. I know this year with what football did at East Carolina. I mean, here I am in the middle of Missouri, and when we're not playing at Lincoln, I get a chance to put my purple and gold on and tell people, that's my school. And so, winning matters. But the academics is the reason that we have these universities. And so I do appreciate folks that not only concentrate on winning on the field or on the court, but winning in the classroom and producing young men and women that can go out and be positive producers in society. And so I would sing the praises of athletics anywhere and everywhere I go. I usually am a little bit reserved to fill the room out when I'm with presidents, but there's a part of me that I put the pressure on myself right now. I believe championships are won in the president's office. I simply say whatever a president supports is gonna be successful, or at least have a chance to be successful. And so, and I don't think you have to put your focus on one single area, but if it means something to the president, it'll mean something to the people.
With your athletic background, you mentioned being a school president being an unusual role for someone with a background in coaching and athletics. Do you almost feel that if you put too much of an emphasis on athletics, or if it appears that do you feel like you'll get accused of that by some in academia?
Absolutely. I know with me being put into this role in the way in which I was asked to serve as the interim and now president, I'm very conscientious of what it is, because again, the mission of the university is to provide students with an education that they can go on and have successful careers. And so I think that there are those that wholeheartedly don't believe in the value of it. I know they don't, and you get pushed back often from the academic side of the house. But I think it's relationships, and I don't think you have to take from one to give to the other. There are people that care more for athletics, for certain academic programs at the university, those people are going to invest in those areas. I was telling a friend yesterday, I've had potential donors that have an interest on the academic side. I've had potential donors who say, listen, I simply want to give to athletics. That's what's important to me. And so trying to walk that tightrope between making sure that you're not giving athletics more attention than you're giving academics is a crucial role for a college president.
John, what about one of the things I was talking to you in the green room before the show is certainly I know you just took over the role as president, but certainly the last 2 years has been really difficult for all of us. But when it comes to academia, when it comes to universities and colleges, man, COVID has been, as our good friend Matt Semenza would say, brutal.
Absolutely. And so there's just, you meet to figure out what's next. And then the game changes as soon as you get settled into a routine. Something else comes along and you're like, okay, we're back to the drawing board. And so you do all you can to plan, to be prepared and ready, and to keep your students, faculty, and staff safe as much as you possibly can. It's been a time in which outside of the sport of basketball, I've never heard the word pivot being used until COVID. And so now it seems like all we do is pivot. And so, having to adjust on the fly and seeing the resiliency of faculty and staff and students across the country to go into modalities like we're using tonight, where classrooms all of a sudden become online, and more for some students that maybe hadn't prepared for that. I know we serve a population of students that don't have enough technology to have this as their number one way of receiving their education. And so I think for some, we've come to appreciate the value of the classroom experience more. For those of us that learn better in the classrooms, I was that kind of learner. I would have struggled in this space. And so, it has given us the flexibility of knowing that we can transition into this type of atmosphere. As I sit here tonight, our university is closed tomorrow because of snow, and it's the first time this year that we've had this much or this significant amount. And so, but my little girl she doesn't have a snow day tomorrow. She's got a virtual day because now high schools and elementary and middles they give the students a laptop and give them an opportunity to learn online.
Hey, Kyle, do you remember the days and Bubba, do you remember the days when, John, I know you do as well, that the weathermen, the meteorologists were the best friend. Please, snow day tomorrow.
Dave, do you remember late 80s watching WNCT, TV9, Carolina Today, Jim Woods? Martin County Schools closed today.
Yeah, exactly. And I tell you what, and another thing too is you always, not to get off on a tangent here, but you also know in the TV market which one loves snow, the meteorologist. So you're always going to watch that pro snow guy, the meteorologist, which one loves it more, like Skip Waters.
Skip Waters back in the day, yeah, exactly.
Back in the day. So, John, as far as we're talking about Joe Dooley, I just want to get your thoughts for those in Pirate Nation. We love him here in Greenville area in Pirate Nation. Talk about Joe as a person behind the scenes. We know a little bit about him, but you know him very, very well.
Joe's one of the most competitive people I've ever been around, and you'll find obviously that most coaches are that way, but he's at an extreme level. He's very competitive. He's brilliant. I remember my days with Coach, and we would go to the mall, to the food court, and he'd get a slice of pizza from, at that time, the Sbarro's. I don't know if it's there. And, and the guy would something would hit him, and he'd grab a napkin and draw a play. And that afternoon in practice, we'd be trying it out. He just had such a mind for the game. And so, he's at that point, he was a really good player as well. He could still play. He got hurt a little bit while I was there. I think he tore his Achilles maybe playing at the Y. But the players respected him because he could go in the gym and he could shoot just as well as anybody on our team at that time. And he was still really athletic. I mean, I think at the time Joe took over my sophomore year, he was the youngest head coach in Division I. And
That's correct.
I was glad to see him come back. I know that I may get personal here, but I don't think Joe was given the right opportunity the first time. I think he had done some things really, really well, and could have been afforded an opportunity to be treated maybe a little bit better at that point. But I'm pulling for him now. I've kept up with it as much as I can with my schedule being what it is now. But Joe's been really, really good to me.
No question with him and coming back, and we were talking about the what about school list, if you will, on as far as Division II is concerned. What kind of budgets, scholarship, what kind of stuff goes on in the world of Division II? The challenges that you guys may face from a college or university at that level.
It's certainly different. It's Division I gets 13 scholarships for men's basketball. We get 10. We don't have to give full scholarships. We can give partials. We do what you call stack scholarships. So you try to get a student athlete as close to zero balance as possible between their athletic money, their academic money, and any other institutional or additional scholarship dollars that they receive. I can tell you my first year, I wasn't very good at it. I didn't understand it. And I haven't met a basketball player yet that didn't think they deserved anything less than a full scholarship. And so I compare Division II to more being in the NBA, where you have a salary pool. Your 10 scholarships, you get a dollar amount for those 10, and you slice that pie as much as and many times as you want to. And so it's you invest in some great players, and then you try to sign some role players around them for a little bit less. Overall operating budget, I mean, at our university, athletics itself probably operates just over a $4 million budget for 11 athletic programs. I'm at a school that's traditionally known for women's track. We've won 14 national championships in like the last 18 years between indoor and outdoor. And they've had a stellar program. Men's basketball, certainly we were able to turn it around and make it competitive. But Northwest Missouri State's the best team in our league. They've been that way. They've won, I think, 3 out of the last 4 national championships. They've competed for national championship in football as well. And so it's Division II sports are very competitive.
How was NIL affecting Division II? I guess it affect every school differently at the Division II level, but overall, how do you think it's affecting Division II athletics?
So for our league, when you think about this and the number of leagues across the country in Division I, Division II, Division III, just 2 weeks ago, we were in Indianapolis for the NCAA convention. At that point, I think we were number 15 in the country in NIL deals. Our university, we were one of the first Division IIs and one of the first HBCUs to sign a full team deal. Our entire football team will be getting a deal next year from a friend of our program that's down in Atlanta. I'm sorry, down in Florida. That's invested. He's a former teammate of our new athletic director, and so it's a brand new space. Trying to figure out what that looks like, and making sure that your student athletes are educated and aware of what's allowed and what's not allowed, and making sure that the money that they're receiving is above the table and is accounted for, just to keep everything in compliance. But it's, tomorrow's our signing day in Division II. I'm not sure if Division I has another tomorrow, but it certainly is Division II. And so it's a big deal that all these schools are using as a recruiting tool at this point.
Can you repeat that again about the NIL? That you said your university or your conference was 15th in the nation?
Our conference is 15th in the nation in the MIAA. So out of all the conferences, our conference is 15 in the nation. And so you think about the number of Division I conferences, and to think we're the only Division II in that top 15. I think it speaks volumes to the level of conference that we're participating here in the MIAA.
Yeah, that's pretty remarkable.
No doubt. And we have folks, if you want to chime in tonight on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, we have our good friend Mark Calloway, who's asking John, knowing ECU, can you compare the importance of the sports of football, basketball, and baseball from a revenue and importance to the Pirate Nation? Thank you.
Man, that's I think everybody there understands that football pays the bills. The more successful they are, the number of seats that they have in that stadium, the more times as a Pirate Nation we can fill those up and support those student athletes and those coaches, the better off we give every sport there an opportunity to be successful. Cliff and I went to college together. Cliff was a walk-on in men's basketball when I was in school there. I believe working on my master's degree, and I've been very proud of him and the work that he's done with that baseball program. I'm a heck of a lot closer to Omaha than you guys, but I got a friend that owns a few hotels out there. So when we make it to Omaha, maybe it's this year, I hope to see a lot of my Pirate friends out there, and I'll be there front and center. But the revenue that's generated from those three sports is critical to every other sport that we have. In addition, you can argue from an academic standpoint, but there's research that you can tell from the Flutie effect. The more you win, the more students are interested in your university from a student experience standpoint. And so, as a Pirate Nation, we've never lost a tailgate. There's students that certainly impacts and their influence, and whether or not they come to school at East Carolina to pursue their education. And so, I don't make the rules for society, but I think sports are important to a lot of people, and it's just an escape from reality for us. And so, the success of the big three is critical.
We just celebrated.
John, I gotta. Go ahead, Dave. You have a follow up to that?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was just going to say really quick to that point, John. I've mentioned several times on the show. I have friends that were the class of basically the year after me, their high school class of '92. They graduated, so they watched the Peach Bowl on ESPN. They had no clue where they're going to college, to a university. They see the Peach Bowl. They see East Carolina win it. That's how they picked where they were going. Kids that were from New Jersey and Maryland and all over, probably say the Eastern Seaboard. But we had a enrollment increase because of that, plus all the excitement and buzz after that game.
Yes, absolutely.
John, I had an interesting question for you. At least I think it's interesting. Obviously, you're happy your new role. You're the president of a university. All right. So here's my question: if you could have your choice, okay, your dream, you get to choose. It's magic world. You rule the world. You get to return to East Carolina as chancellor, athletic director, or head basketball coach. Which one would you choose?
Well, it's totally a dream. All right. I want to preface that just in case there's anybody from Lincoln University watching your podcast tonight. So it's totally a dream. But men's basketball at East Carolina it's just my passion. It's what I absolutely love. And I'm hopeful that Coach can, those guys can. I mean, they've got a good team this year. I hope that they can put together some big wins down the stretch right here and do some great things. But if I had a choice at one of those three, as I sit here in 2022, now you may ask me that same question in 2027, and my answer may change. But at this point, the men's basketball program at East Carolina, I owe so much of my life to the lessons that I learned there and the people that I met, and it helped me. It opened these doors for me. If I hadn't have done what I did there, my career was started by wiping up sweat and doing laundry and putting out uniforms for practice. But I value every one of those lessons and that work ethic that it took. That has certainly, I think, propelled me to the seat that I now get to sit in.
John, I had a question along those lines. If you could wave your magic wand, you've had the role of AD. Obviously, John Gilbert's AD now at East Carolina. What do you think needs to be done for Pirate basketball to be successful?
Well, it's a revenue thing. It's a support thing. It's you're playing in a tremendous league, and the travel. When we made the jump from the CAA to at that time Conference USA, it was tremendous for men's and women's basketball and football. But I think the challenge has been how do you afford everything else? And so obviously, as we talked already about the revenue sports, the more they win, the more revenue there is, the more interest there is, the more support there is. People love winners. Donors love winners. Donors want to invest with winners. And so the more you win, the more they want to give you. And so, I think certainly helping with the practice facility has been a step in the right direction. I'm sure there's some things as a coach. I'm not familiar with really everything that's taking place right there right now. But at that level, your ability to travel, I know to fly back home right after a game or to charter to a game, or whether you're flying commercial, or how many times a year do you get to do that? Now in the NIL space, do you have folks that are interested in assisting with some of that? It's all big questions. It goes back to recruiting. Simply, you got to get players, and every coach knows that. Coach knows that. He's been a tremendous recruiter for a long time. Jimmys and Joes win ball games more than X's and O's. If it's X's and O's, there's quite a few guys that can do that, but not everybody can go out and get those great players.
What are your thoughts on the transfer portal, and also that, and also about not having to sit out like we grew up with, having to sit out at least 1 year to transfer to another school?
Well, to answer your second question first, I think a lot of that got brought on by coaches that jumped ship, that went from one place to the next. And this notion to think that players sign at a university, not with a coach, I don't know how. I think you could debate that. I think the relationship between the coach and the student athlete is one of the biggest factors at that level. There are other sports and other levels that may not have as much influence. The portal itself has changed the game of college athletics, period, regardless of sport, as much as anything in my lifetime. It requires coaches at this point to recruit their own players as much as they recruit new players, because what we've seen over the last few years, and what you're going to see more now, with the inability or the lack of need to sit out, is your best players at a given level may transfer up. Whether you're Division II and all of a sudden, I had two young men at the end of last year come in my office and say, "Coach, we had great years. We're going to go Division I." We had a young man, the best player in our league last year. He's playing at Creighton right now and playing significant minutes. And so, here you are maybe as a coach thinking you've got a really good team coming back, and you lose your two best players to a Division I program. And the same thing can be said from low major to mid major to high major. I know in East Carolina's, for East Carolina's sake, you look at Jaden Gardner right now, and if he's playing with the team that you have and with some of the talent that you have, how many more wins do they have? And so I don't know what all happened with that, but those kind of examples, I think, the Pirate Nation can understand, and it's critical that you continue to recruit every day in your own program, not just out looking for new players.
Do you think they'll ever reel it back in, Annie? To me, there would be a good compromise of you have to sit out a year when you transfer, unless your head coach leaves or gets fired. Then you don't have to sit out a year. You can transfer in that situation without having to sit out.
Kyle, that's a great question, and to some degree, I'd like to think that there could be some kind of compromise, but I do believe that the landscape of the NCAA is changing every day right in front of us. We went to the convention this year, and all of our Division I, II, and III came back with different things. There's a lot of things taking place right now, a lot of questions. A lot of people are kind of sitting back watching what's going to happen. We've had as much transition in college athletics in the last 3-4 years with the portal, with NIL. It's a really interesting time for college athletics, and for ADs and coaches right now. It's hard to keep up with everything that's taking place.
John, normally we don't talk politics on the show, but the one thing I would say, normally I don't want politicians involved, but I really believe that we need national legislation, because every state is different. So that makes it even more confusing. You're talking about the different levels, all that kind of stuff. And I know sometimes there needs to be, like, between Division I, the expectations maybe from Division I versus Division II or III are different, but it just seems like there needs to be some kind of central legislation to say this is what you can do and what you cannot do. It just seems so much gray area.
It is, and I think for the longest time they've done their best to stay out of it. You've seen from state to state what happens when they jump in. Everybody ends up with something different. The NIL, the prime example of that from when the state started adopting their own legislation as it relates to it, which forced the NCAA to kind of make a decision on which direction it wanted to go. I don't know. I don't know. My fear for a long time has been what happens if those high major guys decide that they want to take their ball and go home. What happens to the smaller institutions, Division I? I was at North Carolina Central, and I absolutely loved my 4 years there. Had a great experience with Coach Moten. But for us in our state, it's some low majors here, and you think about the big boys of the NCAA, and a lot of this goes back to the almighty dollar, and so trying to figure out how that works from all the revenue that the NCAA tournament's generating, and how athletes can receive something beyond their academic scholarships or athletic scholarships. Again, that's just been part of the big transition in college athletics over the last 4 or 5 years.
I want to remind fans that they can actually, if you're tuning in tonight on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, you can actually submit your questions. In fact, we have one from Bubba who is producing tonight. We'll get to that in just a second. But since we're talking about NIL deals, Mark is asking, can y'all talk more about the NIL? Can anybody pay for an athlete?
There's certainly not anybody. I mean, you have to go through the process. You have to register. Everything has to be done above board. The university has to document what the athletes are receiving. And so there's a lot of compliance that's been added as a result of it. I won't dare say that I'm the NIL expert. I was fortunate. I jokingly say I went from being AD to president, and I hired a much better athletic director who was younger. Actually, my athletic director, he was with me for a year at North Carolina Central in 2010, but after me, he was at Central Florida, University of Central Florida, who I know is a dear rival of ours in Pirate Nation. But he learned a great deal there. He was there when they were really winning, and he went to Washington State University, and so he had some high major Division I experience. And so I felt very fortunate to get him. And he's done a really good job at our university of ensuring that our student athletes have their best chance to participate in deals. And the other thing is, our conference has been at the leading edge of it, and ensuring that we had a conference-wide deal with the company that kind of tracks what your athletes are getting.
To follow up, as far as HBCUs, with obviously some of the players now that are going there, which is such a pride thing for African-American student athletes. Do you think is that going to be a game changer? We'll see more athletes go into an HBCU versus maybe I hate to say a big name school, but a brand name school that normally would get the Florida States of the world, like that player that was stolen from them.
Yeah. I think it's a great thing for students to go where they feel comfortable, where they feel they can perform at a high level. We saw it last year with Howard University from a basketball standpoint. They had a tremendous player. I don't know his name off the top of my head, but he went there and it made national headlines. And then we had the COVID year, so we really didn't get to see the full effect of what that could be. And so it's when you have a coach like Deion Sanders, the name recognition of Deion Sanders and what he's done for HBCU sports in the last 12 months as the head coach of Jackson State, it's been high level for us. It's given us exposure. I'm working at Lincoln University. We're an HBCU. We were founded in 1866 by African American soldiers of the 62nd and 65th Colored Infantries, and so have we felt a bump from that? There may be some more students that take a look at you, but in the end, students are going to go where they feel comfortable with the coaching staff and where they think they're going to play.
No doubt. And we have one thing for you from Bubba. I want to get this, and we've got Ben Johnson coming on with us in the green room. He'll be with us in just a few minutes. But Bubba's asking, talk about Coach Mac McCarthy. You had the opportunity to serve as his director of ops at East Carolina.
I did. I was ops for a year, and then Darryl LeBerry left and went to Georgia Tech, and Mac was gracious enough to move me up, and it was my dream to be an assistant there and eventually be the head coach there at that point in my career. I can't say enough good things about Mac. Mac sent me a copy, or I bought a copy of his book, back when that came out. Listen, Mac McCarthy can own a room as well as anybody I've ever been around. I was at East Carolina when Sonny Smith was coaching at VCU, and Coach Smith was very similar. And so I'm sure Mac learned a great deal from him. I learned so much from Mac. I just told him the other day, one of the coolest things that I did here that really helped me, when we were at East Carolina, Mac would have the assistant coach go up to the Pirate Club room and give a scouting report of the game. I made the mistake. I wanted to do that here, and I made the mistake the first night of not telling my assistant coach to go up. So I went up myself as the head coach, and it took off like wildfire, and gave me a chance to connect with our fan base and really start to build relationships with the people here in this community. And so I owe just the concept to Mac. He's been just a great friend and great mentor. Whenever I get to Greenville, I do my absolute best to make sure I go by and see him and Miss Jean. They've just been so good to my wife, Crystal, and I. And Mac he's been like an uncle to me, a mentor, a friend, and he does a good job of keeping in touch with so many of his former players and coaches.
I saved the toughest question for last. What is your favorite restaurant in Greenville?
Parker's Barbecue. There's only one. Billy Parker and what they do at Parker's Barbecue. They've been so good to the Pirate Nation for so long. Dating back to the one in Wilson as well. So if I only had one, I'm gonna go to Parker's Barbecue.
All right, John. And how can people follow you, obviously, to keep up with a great pirate from Pirate Nation?
On Twitter. I'm on Twitter. Now it's just Prez_LU, PREZ_LU. I'm on LinkedIn. You see my name, make sure you spell the last name right. That's probably the most common mistake that I get even on my own campus when people send me emails. But I'd love to connect to Pirate Nation and just keep up. And, again, East Carolina's been great to me and my family. I jokingly tell people the first recruit I ever signed was my wife, because I was 2 grades ahead of her in school, 1 year older, and I talked her into coming to East Carolina. I leave out the part that she was a North Carolina teaching fellow, so they paid for her education. So that certainly didn't help my scholarship efforts, but she's the biggest recruit and the best recruit that I've ever signed.
John, thank you so much for coming on tonight. I hope that you won't be a stranger and you'll come back and we can spend more time again real soon.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me.
No doubt. And enjoy the snow and maybe the snow day, and we'll talk to you again soon.
All right. See you guys.
Okay. Good night. All right. Appreciate John, obviously, there with us. And right now, very excited to have the Marist grad transfer, and that's Ben Johnson for the O-line. Ben, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you? I appreciate you guys for having me on.
No doubt about it. Certainly a big day for you. And talk about, how did this all transpire? How did this all happen?
Yeah, absolutely. So I entered the transfer portal, and East Carolina started recruiting me pretty early, and I had a lot of offers. So it was a tough choice for me to narrow down which schools to visit. And ECU was one of my top choices early on. So I definitely wanted to get down to Greenville and check it out. So I had my visit last weekend and absolutely fell in love with the place. It kind of confirmed the feeling I got from the coaching staff and the players that were messaging me. And it just checked all my boxes off, and ECU is home for me. And I'm super excited to announce that I committed today. And yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at right now.
Ben, where else did you visit? I read it today and it's just left my head. I remember you had a couple more visits scheduled and you decided not to take them.
So I visited Buffalo and Ohio University the first 2 weeks, and ECU was the third. I planned on taking a couple other visits. I wasn't really sure because there's a dead period right now, so I would have had to wait about a month. But I went down to ECU, and I knew it was the fit for me, so I didn't want to waste anyone else's time, and I decided to commit today.
How excited are you to move up to the Division I level and have the opportunity to show your skills at the highest level of college football?
I'm super excited. Going from FCS to FBS is a big jump, but I know I'm ready for it, and I can't wait to work really hard and compete to see the field very soon. So it's just a huge opportunity for me, and it's always been a dream of mine, and I've been working my whole life for this. So I'm beyond excited to get started.
Ben, talk about sitting down with East Carolina head coach Mike Houston and also Steve Shankweiler, who will, of course, be your position coach. Coach Shank has 40-plus years in the business and just does a tremendous job.
Yeah, absolutely. I love talking to Coach Houston and Coach Shank. The first thing that jumps out to me about those two is they're both very transparent and honest with me. They pretty much tell you how it is, and that's what I want as a graduate transfer. And I really appreciate how they handled the whole recruiting process and how they communicate with me on a pretty much daily basis. So that was a huge thing for me in recruiting, was having a good relationship with both the head coach and my position coach. And that was just an awesome fit for me. Coach Shank is a super experienced guy, and he pretty much says it how it is, and that's how I like it. And that's a great fit for me personally. So that definitely checks that box off.
Ben, what did you know about East Carolina beforehand?
I'm from up north, so I wasn't like a huge ECU fan or anything, but I knew of them and I kind of knew what conference they were in. And I was super excited when I started getting recruited by them, because the opportunity to kind of experience a different culture down south is a huge thing for me. And honestly, I didn't know too much to start. So it's really cool learning more about the conference, their program, and where they are.
Now, where did you grow up?
I grew up in central Pennsylvania, a town called Williamsport.
Oh, yeah, Williamsport. That's where the Little League World Series is.
Yeah.
Well, something you didn't know, you're coming to Greenville, North Carolina. It's the Little League town in North Carolina. They won the Little League World Series a few years back. Greenville cares about two things: Pirate football. Well, three things: Pirate football, Pirate baseball, and Little League baseball.
What about barbecue?
Well, they care about barbecue also. So four things. But that's so that with a lot of ties to Williamsport. But culturally, we'll get into some fun discussions. Dave mentioned barbecue. Are you familiar with Eastern North Carolina style barbecue?
I am not, but it sounds great.
Okay, it's whole hog barbecue, chopped. It's got vinegar-based barbecue sauce on it. You serve it with coleslaw, potato salad, hush puppies, or you can make a sandwich. But that's traditional Eastern North Carolina barbecue.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. I'll definitely be eating that pretty often when I'm down there.
Now, Ben, you and some of the other guys in that offensive line room, you need to head out to Parker's Barbecue that you may have heard John Moseley, our previous guest, mention. I have some family friends, guys that played way back in the Sonny Randall years, but they went to Parker's Barbecue, and it was funny. They ate so much barbecue that they got cut off. They said nothing but sweet tea and hush puppies.
Yeah, they have a thing, Ben, that you have to do is called family style. And what they do, that's what he's alluding to, is they have these big bowls of, say, with the barbecue, you have the coleslaw, you have all the hush puppies, it's basically like a big buffet, if you will, but they have it right there. You don't have to walk up to a buffet line. It's like being big plates. Yeah. So, that's what a lot of the families like to do. Of course, they call it family style, but Brunswick stew is very good. That's one of my favorite things there, but a lot of great barbecue restaurants in Greenville and Pitt County for sure.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, what do you? All right, just now. This is just, you said you want to experience other cultures. You're a Pennsylvania boy, so it's a blue collar area. It's not like you're from Jersey like some people we know. So what are your preconceived notions? Everybody has thoughts, preconceived notions about certain areas of the country. So when you think of the South, and granted it's North Carolina, it's not Alabama, but what are your preconceived notions of the Southeast?
Just kind of everyone's a lot nicer when you're like walking around and somebody bumps into you. They apologize, say they're sorry, and everyone you're walking around just kind of smiles at you. Up in the Northeast, it's kind of like people just walk by you, bump into you, and it's just like a normal thing, and it's expected to just keep walking and moving forward. And it's almost like an insult if someone smiles at you, if you know what I mean. So it's a little different being down there, and I kind of noticed that on my visit, and I thought that the hospitality was pretty cool.
Yeah, I think a lot of those tropes are particularly in small southern towns. I think when you get into some of the bigger cities in the South, Charlotte, Raleigh, there's so many people from so many other parts of the country there. It's not quite the same. But yeah, when you're talking about rural parts of the South, like Eastern North Carolina, I think a lot of the kindness, people are friendly. They smile. They'll talk to you. Yeah, we'll talk to you now. You get in a line at Walmart or the Piggly Wiggly or Food Line, and you start talking to the person in front of you, behind you. That does happen. So yeah, so your stereotypes are positive so far. So that's good.
Right.
To our great new friend, I guess it's a we on YouTube watching tonight. We're going to get back to football. We appreciate you understanding that we're trying to get to know Ben a little bit more. But talk about, as far as football is concerned, let's talk about your football background, since I guess he or she wants football questions. So.
Okay. Yeah. So I came into Marist to play tackle, and my freshman year I redshirted, and then my sophomore year I ended up starting at right tackle for the majority of the year. And my junior year I moved over to left tackle, but our season ended up getting canceled twice because of COVID. So we ended up pretty much working out for a whole year in between, which was pretty tough for our guys at Marist. And senior year I stayed at left tackle and played the whole year there. I really liked playing outside, but I believe I'm a pretty versatile player and I can play anywhere on the O-line. I believe at the FBS level, I'm more of a guard center type. So I think that's another big reason that ECU was a good fit for me. They have a need there, and that's what I wanted to do. So the puzzle pieces kind of fit together.
Now, being kind of a two-part question, Coach Mike Houston, Coach Shank, and this staff, offensive coordinator Donnie Kirkpatrick, they really want to run the football. Got that done this year. Had a 1,000-yard rusher in Keaton Mitchell, tremendous back. Also Rajay Harris, who had a quality season. I think we ran for something like 1,700 yards as a team. But just talk about what the staff said in that regard in terms of their commitment to running the football. And then the second part of that, just about you individually, how do you assess your game in terms of run blocking, and also pass blocking? Where do you feel like you're strong right now, and where do you feel like you need to show the most improvement?
Okay, yeah. So first off, the coaches definitely made it clear that they want to run the ball, and that is definitely something that an offensive lineman loves to hear. I love run blocking, and for me personally, fitting into their offense, I'd say I'm a pretty athletic offensive lineman. I've got good speed, good feet, good quickness and explosiveness. So as a pulling guard type of mauling run block player, I'd be a great fit into the offense for them. Moving from tackle to guard, I don't think would be a huge issue for me. I had success running the ball at Marist at the tackle position. I really don't believe moving inside would be super difficult for me. So it's just a matter of getting even stronger in the weight room and maybe putting a little more weight on and just becoming a more experienced football player at the FBS level. So comparing run blocking to pass blocking, I haven't really had a ton of experience pass blocking on the interior, but at Marist, I've blocked the edge at left tackle for my whole career there. So I'm pretty confident in my ability to transition from blocking the edge to the interior, especially when most of the time you have help from another offensive lineman. So I'd say the area I need to improve on the most is probably my pass blocking, just because I haven't really done it on the inside very much. It's a little different than the edge. So that's going to be one of my main areas of focus. I'm very confident in my ability to run block, but it's a matter of being a sponge and taking in everything that Coach Shank has to say, buying into his technique, and working hard and getting the job done.
And obviously, one of our co-hosts, he actually was former linebacker in the 90s under Coach Steve Logan. He's asking you, Ben, when will Ben be arriving on campus at East Carolina?
I'll be arriving on campus this May after I graduate from Marist.
All right. Also, we asking, are you going to? Do you have a goal to go to the NFL after this year?
That's always been a goal of mine, but I strongly believe that to accomplish those long-term goals, you have to be focused on what's right in front of you right now. My goal right now is to get bigger, faster, and stronger. So I'm going to attack each day, one day at a time. So I'm going to get in the weight room, get in my speed training classes, and keep working hard. And my goal right now is to earn a spot on the starting five of the offensive line. So that's my first goal. And then I'm just going to keep taking it one step at a time.
All right, Ben. I want your word right now. I want your word as a man and your word as a Pirate. If it looks like you're going to have a chance to get drafted after this season, will you commit now that you will play in the damn bowl game?
Absolutely. I want to play for my brothers, and I love my teammates at ECU. Everyone that I've met so far has been really great and committed to the program, and I don't think I could see myself backing out on the team. So I'd 100% play in the bowl game. That's always been a dream of mine too, is playing a bowl game. So I would never pass that opportunity up.
Awesome.
That a lot of people in Pirate Nation will definitely be happy about that. I guess you know about our fan base, how rabid the fan base is, and by the way, folks, you can get your tickets. We found out about that. You can get your tickets at 1-800-ECU. Of course, you can go to ecpirates.com. Anyway, you can see Ben and a lot of other great additions to the team this year. We want to make sure we get those season tickets way up, right, Kyle?
Yeah, they went on sale today. I already purchased mine for the 2022 season and made my Pirate Club pledge. So I'm ready to go watch the Pirates beat North Carolina State Labor Day weekend.
Obviously, been a non-football question. Hopefully that's right. Okay with everybody. What are you studying grad-wise?
I'm going to be studying data science. It's a 2-year program. I was a finance major at Marist, and that's a nice complement to that major. So it's a good thing to fall back on after football, and I'm pretty excited about East Carolina's program there.
So Dave asked earlier, we kind of transitioned away from it. What do you know about Pirate Nation and our fan base? We used to have I think we still have a solid reputation, but at one point, we were considered to have the best fan base outside of the so-called Power Five.
Yeah, I know Pirate Nation is an electric fan base, and you could just see that on social media, how active everyone is, and there's just Pirates fans from all ends of the country. It's just really cool interacting with the fans and how supportive they are of the team, and it's just a really cool experience there. So I'm pumped to play for a fan base that really loves football and wants to see the team succeed.
I know you talked about getting bigger in the weight room. Have you met the strength and conditioning coach, Big John?
Yes, sir. I met him on my visit.
What did you think about him? He's pretty cool.
Yeah, I was a big fan of Big John's philosophy, and I love that he works specifically with the O-line and D-line. So I'll be getting a lot of work in with Big John, and I can't wait to get started there.
Speaking of the weight room, again, one of our co-hosts not with us tonight. He's asking Matt Semenza, will Ben continue with the Marist weight room program until May?
So I'm on a different weight program right now. I'm going to a private trainer during the week and lifting on my own a little bit outside of that. So me and some of the other grad transfers here at Marist are on a different program, and it's been a really good thing for us. So I'm going to continue with that throughout the rest of the semester.
Obviously, we had Jet G talking sports. He said, I heard, is it Carson Badamo has showed strong interest in joining ECU this year, too. Great player for the edge position.
Yeah, Carson Badamo was a great player for the Marist football team, and I would be pumped to see him get recruited by ECU.
That would be awesome. Hey, anybody that wants to put on the purple and gold, we obviously love them. How about family-wise? You have a lot of friends here tonight and family watching and listening. What about them? Are they going to buy like season tickets? Are they going to get apartments or houses in Greenville to watch the family member friends play? We know realtors.
Absolutely. I have a lot of great supporters in my life, and I'm sure my family's going to make it to as many games as they can. I don't know if they're going to buy an apartment in Greenville, but I'm sure they're going to try their best to make it to all these games. And I have some good friends I played ball with at Marist and from home that definitely want to come support the Pirates. So I have a great foundation in that part of my life.
No doubt. That's great. We appreciate you coming on tonight. And do you have any words for Pirate Nation before you go?
Yeah, I guess I'm just pumped to join the program, and I just want to help the team succeed in any way that I can. And I'm going to work my butt off for you guys, and I can't wait to get started in May.
We're very happy to have you in Pirate Nation, obviously, Ben, and good luck to you. Obviously, graduating this May in Marist, and we look forward to having you. And I guess in fall camp, it won't be long. Gosh, it's going to be 6 months away for fall camp. So look forward to meeting you in person very soon.
Yes, sir. Hey, thanks for having me.
All right. Hope you have a great night.
You too. See you guys.
All right. Good night. Obviously, appreciate Ben coming on, guys. It's great to have him. And another one, signing day tomorrow officially, isn't that right? Or is it next Wednesday? It's coming up, right?
I think it's tomorrow.
Tomorrow, like it just seems like with the world I'm living in, with my day job, that things are going by very like 100 miles an hour. So I'm trying to keep up, and it's not as easy as it usually is. But I think it's tomorrow, as John was alluding to earlier. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. And I guess with already having the early signing period, you have to be really judicious in how many scholarships you have left and your needs, right, Kyle, for the original signing period.
Yeah, it's not what it used to be, and you kind of you don't know what you don't. You got to save some spots, but you don't know what's going to be available at that time. But I really don't even know what we're signing tomorrow. How many players we are signing? Are we signing anybody tomorrow?
I don't know. Joining us right now, former linebacker under Steve Logan, and that will be Matt Semenza. Hey, Matt, you and I are on a show together. Hallelujah, man! It's been forever, brother.
I know. What's going on, guys? Good to see you guys. I haven't seen Dave and Kyle in a long time, man, but good to be here. I had a bad connection, so I couldn't hop on earlier, but excited about Ben Johnson, and I think that was a really big signing for us. We definitely needed the help on the interior O-line, so really happy to have his verbal commitment, and hopefully we can get another lineman or two to finish off this class.
In fact, by the way, Jet G is talking sports, says Badamo is down to Navy, Tulane, Ohio, and ECU. So thank you, Jet G, for letting us know that. So we'll see if Carson Badamo chooses East Carolina. Guys, before I forget, big announcement today in sports with Tom Brady officially retiring. I don't know if you care, but just want to get your thoughts on that.
I was a Tom Brady hater for years, just because I typically, if it's the most popular, it's winning the most championships, particularly, I'm going to hate it. That's just how my mind works. But with him, leaving New England and then going and doing what he did at year one with Tampa Bay last year, it really solidified to me that he's legitimately one of the greatest to ever play the game at the quarterback position.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it was funny. I was thinking about you, Kyle, at lunchtime today when I saw the announcement. It's kind of like for me, Matt, I don't know how you feel about this, but it feels like, for a wrestling term, and this is the only way I know how to describe it, He went from a heel to a baby face. He made the switch when he went to Tampa Bay. What do you guys think about that?
I think for some people he did. For me, he did.
It seems like there's a lot of people. The attitude, Kyle, you bring up a great point with that he actually he did himself a favor to get away from Bill Belichick and actually go to Tampa Bay, and some people think that he did that to show Belichick that he still had it in him to win another one, and now he has 7 titles. I mean, the guy was in 10 Super Bowls. He's been great for the game, and you can't argue with the stats that he's the greatest ever.
Yeah, it's funny what Kyle said. I kind of went from early in Brady's career when he won his first Super Bowl. Everybody loved Brady. He was the toast of the town. And then as the years went on and he kind of became like this celebrity, and he married Giselle, God bless him. And he and then I started to hate him. I'll be honest. There was a period of time there, maybe for like 7 years, where I kind of despised the Patriots, really for no other reason than they were just so good, and I was tired of them. And then when he made the move to Tampa, I kind of reversed course and kind of found myself cheering for the guy to win another one. And that really is like the true sign of how great he is, that he was able to go to Tampa, win a Super Bowl. And then even this year, I mean, the guy's what? Is he 44 years old? I can't even keep track anymore. And he led 45. The NFL in passing.
He's 45.
45, and he led the NFL in passing yards. That's amazing. So I say it's a good time to go out on top.
Yeah, no doubt. And you want to talk about do you guys see him in a broadcasting role? I really do. I think he has a lot of potential to be a great broadcaster. That's my gut feeling. I don't know if he has any plans on that.
Yeah, he definitely could be.
He has a lot of charisma about him. And by the way, I know Kyle doesn't like talk NFL, and we'll talk briefly. What did you guys think about those games, man? The ratings, 50 million for one and 46 million people watching the other game. That's just incredible. What a stat.
Ooh, wait. Did you say 50 million and 46 million?
Yes, sir.
Phew.
I read it today.
That is that an all-time rating for a non-Super Bowl? That's insanity.
Yeah, I read it like 3 times because I knew you guys were going to ask me that tonight. It's unbelievable, the number and the games. My team is not in it, though. We'll find out what the mascot is tomorrow for Washington, and we'll find out. It's probably very lame, but anyway, that's a whole other show, as they say. But my team is not in it. But to have a team not in it, those games have been nail biters. I tell you what, it's been unbelievable this year with those games in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, every single game has been good, and for me, the pinnacle of those games was the Buffalo Kansas City game.
Oh my God! Yeah. Oh my God!
Watching how bright is the future at quarterback in the NFL with some of these young guys like Joe Burrow, Josh Allen. Mahomes is only like 26. I mean, he's still a relatively young guy. You just go on, and that was an incredible game. The 4 lead changes in the last 3 minutes of the game, I believe. Yeah. And then, of course, you have the worst rule in sports with the overtime, in my opinion. I hate it. Really felt bad that Buffalo didn't get a chance to get the ball back, but I guess that's the way it goes.
Yeah, whoever wins the coin flip, usually, I don't know the percentages. I used to know it, but the percentage is so high, just a coin flip decides who wins the game, basically. Because whoever gets the ball, they score, it's over. Pretty much. They've tweaked it a little bit. But Kyle, I'll give you that for college. I love the college football playoff. I love the overtime rules better than I do the NFL.
Yeah, well, it's still in a perfect overtime system. To me, the perfect overtime system is to start at the 50-yard line and alternate possessions until the game's over. I don't know why that's not done, particularly at the college level. Particularly with them coming up with that lame-ass rule to end games earlier with ongoing 2-point conversions after the second overtime. I think if you would just start the drives at the 50 rather than automatically in field goal range, the games would get over a lot faster.
I know you guys don't like soccer, but that's the equivalent of penalty kicks for soccer. It is so lame, and that's lame for. I don't like that rule at all. I really don't like that rule at all. Basically, a 2-point conversion decides the winner of that. It's such a gimmick, and I know the reason being they said they were. Here's the other thing I hate, guys, about it is when you hear the rationale of we're trying to protect the student athlete. I'm like, are you kidding me? You're trying to protect the student athlete. You don't care anything about the student athlete. And Matt, you actually you're a student athlete. How do you feel about that? They're trying to protect the student athlete, Matt.
I just think it's the most laughable thing in the world when the NCAA gets up on its high horse and they want to talk about protecting the student athlete. I think it's hilarious. It almost reminds me of the NFL when they, the NFL was so the topic of concussions was such a hot topic for a while, and the NFL went out of their way to talk about they're going to do everything possible to minimize concussions. But then what did they do? They expanded the preseason, and then they added a 17th game. So it's all it's just kind of ironic how they constantly they say these things, but the actions don't really back it up.
So do you guys? I know you probably don't care, but what do you think? Tomorrow being Groundhog Day, when they choose the new mascot for Washington, what do you think it'll be? What would you? All right, let me ask you this: what would you, if that were your team or you're the team president owner, what would you pick Washington's new mascot to be?
I'd probably go with the Redskins, but I'd go if not. Yeah, I would. I said all along, I would have just called them the Washington Red. Just drop the word skins. Just call them the Washington Red. Fill the logo. Just fill the logo in with just make it red. Yeah, do the R and just be the Washington Red and make it real simple. That's what I would do. Beyond that, I know a lot of people wanted the Red Wolves. I heard somebody say Commanders.
That's what I think it's going to be. They said the reason I'm going with Commanders, not what I want, but they said it would be a military theme mascot. And of the choices that I remember off the top of my head, that was only one. Defenders, Commanders are the two that I've heard that I would assume would be a military. What do you think, Matt? I mean, I know that you're a Giants guy, but I'm just curious as we're the eve of the announcement tomorrow.
The Washington Jarheads.
Jarheads?
I read an article that there's going to be the Commanders too. I'm not a big fan of that one. It's just I was kind of hoping for something unique, something a little different. Like,
I don't know. The Commanders is pretty unique. Commanders.
It doesn't. I don't know, man. It just doesn't.
We're going commando.
Hey, you know what I want is I'm not going to get too off on this topic, but the one thing I will say about it and move on is for me personally, I just want my team to win football games. Just focus on the football field. Don't worry about any kind of political stuff off the field and all the other stuff that's distractions that are going on, or whatever's going on in the office or that kind of stuff. I'm worried about wins and losses for that. But anyway, guys, very excited about obviously football. Baseball season's right around the corner. I want to remind fans we have 23 Jungle Tales that we've been doing. Bubba has been doing an excellent job with that. Bubba, I want to give you a shout out for that. Of course, the D1 baseball, for the North Carolina D1 baseball preview, we've got that going on. I want to remind fans, too, to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We've had a lot of people subscribing to our YouTube channel and also to Pirates Cove, that presented by the Sports Objective. We have that on Facebook. It's our group that we have where you can talk Pirate Nation or a lot of other things in there. Right, Kyle?
Yeah, Pirates Cove on Facebook. Go there and talk Pirate Athletics, or I guess we pretty much keep it to Pirate Athletics. But I guess if you want to bring up another topic, go ahead.
And no doubt about it. So, in fact, we've had 2 episodes of the Jungle Tales so far. Matt Bridges and Cam Colmore, and then John Waite, who played under Coach O from 1988 to 1991. Want to remind our good friends, thanks to our good friends at Next Level Training Center, and that will be Trent and Gaynell Britt. They sponsor Extra Innings. We'll have that coming up in just a couple weeks away from baseball season, as East Carolina's hosting Bryant in a couple weeks. Hard to believe.
Wow. It's coming quickly, guys. Coming very quickly.
A top 10 program coming in with Coach Cliff Godwin. I want to remind fans the baseball banquet is this weekend. If you don't have your tickets, you're out of luck. But another successful thing. And I think actually Bubba reminded me, now that I say that, I think they're doing a link where you can watch it virtually. I think Bubba can help me out with that. I believe that's right, where you can pay for that. So that's probably, I have to work, which is unfortunate. I was going to the banquet, but I can't. But I'll be working, so I'll probably be watching that before I go to work. So that'll be real fun. Do you guys have anything before we go, Matt?
Yeah, a random story that just a quick story that might be of interest to some ECU baseball fans. I had mentioned to you guys before the show, a few years ago, we played Quinnipiac in the regional.
Yep.
And if you guys recall, they had a power hitter by the name of Liam Scaffarello, who hit a few bombs against us in that regional. Earlier tonight, I discovered that he is my son's new baseball coach. So
Wow.
Thought that was an interesting little tidbit for ECU baseball fans. He had a pretty good regional against us in Greenville. So
2019.
pretty random story there, but just thought it was interesting. And I remember the name when I met him, and then he said he played for Quinnipiac, and I kind of put it together. So, but he, just wanted to throw that out there.
All right. I want to remind fans, by the way, Bubba's telling me, and we're putting up on the screen for those listening, it is sold out. You can purchase a virtual ticket to watch the ECU baseball banquet. And I assume you can do that by going to ECUPirates.com to do that under baseball. But certainly, if you're looking to join in, you can do so for the ECU baseball banquet. I want to give a shout out to all the great folks at the baseball program who do a great job. And by the way, fellas, before we get out of here, Bubba wants to let everybody know we've topped 2,000 season tickets today. We've sold over 250 more than we've ever have, and it's still time to sell some more. So get your tickets again, ECUPirates.com, or you can do like I do. I like to talk to a person, Matt. I'm always the one that screws things up. 1-800 dial ECU, or you go to ECUPirates.com. All right. Thanks for our great guests, John and Ben. We want to thank Kyle, Matt, thank you so much, brother. Great that you're back with us. Appreciate you, man.
Good to see you, man.
Good to see you too. Bubba, thank you so much behind the scenes tonight. I know he's got multitasking and producing. Thank you, Bubba. All right, fans, don't forget once again to like our Facebook page. We're on Twitter at OBJ, at The Sports OBJ. You can find us. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel. And obviously, we're on TikTok. We're everywhere. And we're on many different platforms when it comes to our podcast, wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. All right, we'll get out of here. I'm Dave Richmond. Thanks for watching The Sports Objective. Good night, everybody. And as always, go Pirates.